Okay, I hope you all are doing okay. We're going to jump into some Punnett squares that are a little bit different than what we've seen. We're going to do something that's called codominance and incomplete dominance. So I always start off with asking, what does codominance, that prefix co mean? Or what does incomplete mean? So if I have like co-captains, like there's two captains, right? They're both there, they're both shown. So codominance, both traits shown. Now incomplete dominance means you're not quite dominant. There is no real dominant one. So you get these blending of traits. So for incomplete, this is blending. Now this will count as your notes. It's kind of a worksheet, but also notes to help you out if you need the help throughout class. All right, so we're going to practice setting up keys for the phenotypes listed in each set. Remember that the medium trait must always be heterozygous. So where like both traits are shown, that's going to be your heterozygous, which means different, remember. Or if you see a trait that's like a blending of like two colors or something, that's going to be your heterozygous. So I'm going to do A with you guys, and then I'm going to give the class time to work on this, but I'll go through in this video and I'll kind of walk through all of these. So A, eggplants can be deep purple, white, or light violet colored. So as soon as I see that there is a third option, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be incomplete or codominance. Because remember, up to this point, we've had, ooh, it's purple or white. We've not had a third option, and that's not always the case in the world. Like, look at hair color, eye color, anything for that matter. Dogs, cats, they all have all these different versions and colors that they can have, or flowers. So we get this third color, and as soon as I see that, I'm like, okay, this is not going to be a normal Punnett square. So I'm looking then as I see this third color, and I'm like, what is my in-between trait? And it is this one, this light violet. I have purple, white, and you get a blending of these two colors to get this light violet color. So there's two ways that you can come up with the keys to this. And I'm not going to write the phenotypes out, they're right here for you. So I could say, and this is what I think is the easiest, but sometimes it confuses kids. I could say, I'm going to use purple, I'm going to use white, and my in-between trait, which is heterozygous, is going to be PW. Now, normally I'm like, do not use two different letters, but when you get this, there's not a real dominant trait. There's no recessive trait here, so they can be different letters, and they're both kind of technically like a capital letter. Now if you like what we've been doing, I'm going to use an E for eggplant. I could use E, two capitals. Now I could have put the two capitals at white, because once again, one's not more dominant than the other. I'm just going to assign the two lowercase to the white, and then the light violet color is going to be the heterozygous trait. So I tend to like to use the two different letters since there's not a true true dominant trait. They're both dominant, so I just use two different letters with capitals. All right, so this is where I would give the class some time to go over B, C, D, and E, and then go back and see what they came up with. But I'm going to kind of walk through this with you. I'm going to get rid of this, I'll go ahead and do B. All right, so flowers can be white, pink, or red. So I'm like, ooh, there's three different traits here. Three different, what are called alleles. Alleles are on a chromosome, and all these different alleles kind of determine like what your genetics are. So I have a white allele, a pink allele, and a red allele. So I see that there's three, so I know it's going to be one of these. So which one is my in-between trait? Well, it's the pink. So I know that's going to be heterozygous, so I'm just going to do two capital W's, two capital R's, because remember, it is there's no recessives here, so they're both going to get to be capital. And then my pink is going to be RW. It's a mixture. You have to have one of each. You have to have a white allele and a red allele, and you get pink. Okay, C. A who can have curly hair, spiked hair, or a mix of both curly and spiked. So once again, I see that mix right away. So that's my mix. So I'm going to have curly hair. I can have spiked hair, or I can have a mixture of both. So I can have the curly hair gene and the spiked hair gene, and I have both now. All right. speech can be tall, medium, or short. Well, my in-between trait is medium. So I can be tall, I can be short, or I can be medium height, which is going to be a capital T, capital S. Once again, no recessive traits here. There's not one that wins out over the other. If they're both there, then they're both shown, it kind of blends. All right, oblique so can be spotted, black, or white. So my mixture, my in-between is spotted, right? This, you see a spotted cow? It's because they have both of these. So I'm going to use a B for black, a W for white, and if it's spotted, if it's black and white spotted, then it's going to be BW. It's got the gene for black and the gene for white. All right, now the next step is number 2. Now, can you figure out in the above list which of the letters represents codominant traits and which are incomplete? So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller again. Okay. So bear with me. I'm going to go right here. Now remember that codominant shows both. Write this down if you need to. Remember, I said this is supposed to serve as your notes. So if you need help later on, you can pull this out and be like, oh yeah, this is what this means. Incomplete is a blending. It means they're both expressed, but they're kind of blended together, whereas codominance, they're both there. All right, so I'm looking at A. Eggplants can be a deep purple, white, or light violet. Now, normally in class, I would tell them, try to figure this out, and we'll go over it. But we have purple, white, and we have light violet. So that light violet color, are purple and white both shown, or was there a blending of colors? So if eggplants were purple with white spots, then it would be codominant, but it's not. There's a blending of purple and white to make this light violet color, so blending is going to be incomplete dominance. So I'm going to put the letter A there. Flowers can be white, pink, or red. This is the same as A. If I had a flower that was white with red stripes or something, then it would be codominant, but it's not. We have a blending of white and red to make this pink color, so it is also incomplete dominance. Codominance is when they both are shown. Think of that word co and co-captain. They're both captains. They're both there. So C, a who can have curly hair, spiked hair, or a mix of both curly and spiked. Now, if it were curly, spiked, and wavy, then maybe it would be incomplete. But it's not. It's saying both are shown. Both curly and spiked can be shown, so that is codominant. A speech can be tall, medium, or short. We have a blending of traits. That medium is blending. Now, if I was like I have one tall, like I have one long leg and one short leg, that would be incomplete. That would be codominance. But this is not. It's medium. There's a blending of these traits. So D is going to go there. And lastly, E, oblique so can be spotted, black, or white. So we have black and white, and then we have spotted, which means it's like maybe white with black spots, or is it black with white spots? I don't know. But either way, there's no blending. If we were to blend, we would have black, white, or gray. And that would be blending and incomplete, but this is not. So this is they're both shown, both of those colors are there, so codominant. All right, let's look at the back side here. We're actually going to do some Punnett squares with these. So I have smileys, and eye shape can be starred, circular, or a circle with the star. And right away, I'm like, ooh, there's 3 characteristics. So I know it's going to be one of these. I just don't want you guys to forget just normal, easy Punnett squares. Like sometimes we do this, and then kids get used to this, and they start having trouble with just the normal Punnett squares that are easy. All right, so write the genotypes for the pictured phenotypes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a C for circle, an S for star, and a CS for the circle star. So on number 4, I'm going to draw my Punnett square. Go ahead and draw your Punnett square there. And then I'm going to read the question. It says, show the cross between a star-eyed and a circle-eyed. All right, so I'm going to do a star-eyed, which is capital S, capital S. Now I could have put it on the side. It doesn't matter where you put this. And a cross for circle-eyed. Now I'm going to fill in this Punnett square. You bring your S down and your C across. Same thing, S down, C across. And I flip-flop those. That, in my head, drives me insane. And there. And it won't erase. So once I go, like I could have S in front, but it was driving me nuts because it wasn't the same as that. So whatever I pick to go in front is what's going to go in front. You guys can do whatever. You could have flip-flopped those and said SC. All right, so what are the phenotypes? Now remember, phenotype is physical. What do they look like? And they look like a circle / star eye. What are the genotypes? Well, the genotypes of every single one is CS, or maybe you wrote SC. All right, number 5. We're going to do our Punnett square, so go ahead and draw your Punnett square out. Show the cross between a circle star-eyed and a circle-eyed. Okay, so my first parent is circle star, just CS. My next parent is circle, so just C's. Now when I fill this in, I'm going to drag down and across. That is what your Punnett square should look like. Now they want to know how many of the offspring are circle-eyed. You could say 2, or you could say 50%. How many of the offspring are circle star-eyed? 2, or you could say 50%. Either one's fine. All right, number 6, I'm going to draw over on this other side here. So I'm going to put my Punnett square here. You guys, I'm just running out of room over there. You guys can, if you have room, draw it on the other side there. All right, so I have a cross between 2 circle star-eyed parents. So I'm going to do, there's one circle star-eyed parent. Here's the other circle star-eyed parent. I'm going to fill in this Punnett square. So there's 2 capital C's, that's a circle. Here is the chance that you could get a child that's circle star. Here's another chance of getting a child at circle star. And lastly, we could have a child that is star. Okay, so it says how many of the offspring are circle-eyed? Well, there's 1, or you could say 25%. And remember, this is just chance. This is all odds. How many of the offspring are circle star-eyed? 2, or 50%. And then how many are star-eyed? There you go in that corner. And that is 1, or 25%. Now you guys could have done this. You could have said SC. If you flip-flop these, that is completely fine. It may look, your Punnett square may look a little bit different than mine, but your answer should still be the same. All right, guys, if you have any questions or are confused at all, please do not hesitate to send me something. Get in contact with me, and I'll try to help you out, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Bye.